The Lakers have come under a lot of microscopic inspection after their disappointing season came to an end and they missed out on the playoffs. There was mismanagement, some poor trades. The Lakers didn't have much luck either, not to mention the insane amount of injuries. And, as the franchise looks at it, the tactics and the coaching wasn't up to par either. So what went wrong for the Lakers? Finger pointing and blame game is way too easy to do, but finding the real reason behind the terrible season is a totally different ballgame. Maybe it's not just one reason, and it's a combination of all. Maybe it was just a bad year. The Lakers left too much for themselves to do. But let's take a look at some of the facts that can help us explain what truly went wrong for the LA franchise. Up until the start of the month, the Lakers had already crashed out of the playoff positions, and a damning stat surfaced all over the internet. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook only played 21 games together out of a possible 82. Anthony Davis himself was supposed to take over for LeBron and allow him to play second fiddle, but as the regular season drew to a close, Anthony Davis missed more than 50% of the games throughout the season. That wasn't what was promised though. LeBron took to Twitter and then later deleted and asked people to judge later once the Lakers found their touch. However, they crashed out, and it seems as if they were never even close to finding their touch. The aging roster was criticized when only rumors linking Westbrook to the Lakers had emerged, and it's been the center of criticism throughout. Even in the games the trio played together, they only managed 11 wins out of a possible 21. Next, the firing of Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel was fired following the end of the season for the Lakers, and it was met with a lot of mixed opinions from ex-players, analysts, and fans. The general manager, Rob Pelinka, confirmed that the franchise had fired Vogel because the franchise needed a different kind of voice, and they've come under a lot of fire for this decision. Did Vogel deserve to be fired? There are various ways to look at it, but as it turns out, most insiders will tell you that it wasn't his decision to bring in Russell Westbrook, and that seems to be the decisive factor behind the firing. Westbrook, after the firing of Vogel, stated how he didn't know what Vogel's issue was with him, and that confirms that the duo wasn't on the same page, and that would have contributed to the poor performances and the mismanagement. It seems as if the Lakers' high management is taking the easy way out and making scapegoats to pile on the blame because they want to give the trio another shot. Some insiders have claimed that signing Westbrook was LeBron's decision, and he deserves some of the blame for the signing not working out. While there isn't a lot of confirmation behind it, he was backing the signing openly, and it seems like he wanted him at the Lakers. However, the Lakers could be going into the next season with the same side, and if that doesn't work out, they'd be in big trouble. After all, Vogel was instrumental in winning them the championship in 2020, but didn't get the due credit then, and it seems like the higher management never really liked Vogel because he wasn't their first choice initially either. Up next, Lakers blasted for cowardice over firing. However, only the decision to fire Vogel hasn't resulted in so much heat for the franchise. It's also the manner and the timing that has been questioned by ex-players and analysts. ESPN reporter Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted that Vogel had been relieved from his duties immediately after the conclusion of the final game of the season for the Lakers. As a result, the reporters present at the press conference wasted no time presenting the awkward question to Vogel, and he was visibly annoyed because he didn't know about it. Somehow, Vogel managed to turn attention away from his future and talked about how proud he was of his team and their win. And this wasn't the time to talk about the future. The decision was later confirmed, and that was the point when the ex-players blasted the franchise for handling the whole situation so poorly. It's clear that they could have waited another day, at least because, yes, you've made the decision, but do you have to reveal it right away? He was a big part of your highs, and that's how you treat him in your lows? Pathetic. Former NBA player Richard Jefferson took aim at Pelinka and company for not letting Vogel know, and the fact that he had to find out the news from a reporter. He said that it was a cowardly thing to do, and the Lakers lacked decency for not handling it right, and we couldn't agree more. He believes that Pelinka can't talk about decency after his poor handling of the Vogel situation. He also explained that it's not only the performances, rather the whole franchise is in utter disarray, and he's right. Some big decisions questions are pending for Pelinka and the rest of the front office. Let's see if they get them right. Next, Jason Tatum's late heroics. The Celtics hosted the in-form Nets in Game 1 of the playoff series. After starting well, the hosts tailed off a little, and a Kyrie-inspired dramatic second half saw them trailing in the final quarter. They managed to close the gap, but the Nets led with a second to go when Marcus Smart's pass was converted into a layup at the buzzer by Tatum, and the Celtics won a dramatic game to kick off the series 115-114. It was a sensational match throughout, while the Celtics were lucky to catch KD on an off day, who struggled to make an impact. Either way, it looked like the Nets wouldn't require any assistance from anyone as long as Kyrie was killing it on the court. He combined his 39 points with 5 rebounds and 6 assists, but it wasn't enough. For the Celtics, Tatum led the charge, and after inflicting early damage, he had enough in him to win the game as he finished with 31 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. Horford, Brown, and Smart put in important shifts for the Celtics and gave them a significant win. Both the sides have aces up their sleeves, and if the series isn't wrapped up by Game 4 or 5, we could see the Nets handing a debut to Ben Simmons. That would be a much-needed boost for the Nets, but they're not the only ones that can call upon an injured player. The Celtics also have Rob Williams close to a return, and if he's back, the Nets won't find it easy to attack the rim. Now, MVP finalists announced. The regular season may have finished, but the NBA awards for the regular season are yet to be handed out, and the finalists have been announced by the NBA. For the MVP, the 3 finalists that made the cut are Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. Most people would agree that the NBA has made the right decision with the finalists, but it was a tough choice. This has been the closest MVP race of recent years, and it's extremely hard to pick a winner between the 3 finalists. It's so tight that Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, and many others would feel hard done to not have made the final cut. Joel Embiid was the clear favorite for the majority of the season. However, now it seems like Jokic has led the lead for the MVP. At the same time, though, it's impossible to rule out Giannis, even though he had a slow start. He managed to make a huge impact as the Bucks finished 3rd, only 2 wins behind the leaders Miami Heat. Who do you think wins the MVP? Up next, troubling times for the Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, carried by Luka Doncic, managed to make the playoffs, but now find themselves trailing behind Utah Jazz, who put on an inspired performance to get a big win. With Game 2 about to take place on Friday, it seems like things aren't getting better for the Dallas-based franchise. According to some insider sources, and notably Adrian Wojnarowski, Doncic might not recover from the calf strain in time to feature in Game 2 either. The 23-year-old already missed the first game of the series against the Jazz, and at this moment, it seems unlikely that he'll make the cut for Game 2 either. It's a huge blow for the Mavericks because it was obvious how much they missed their point guard, and it seems like they'll have to contend one more game without him. For the Utah Jazz, this seems like the perfect opportunity to take a 2-0 lead and pile the pressure on the Mavericks for the rest of the series. It won't be easy, of course, but then again, it won't get easier after Game 2 if Luka Doncic is to return. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the Lakers should have fired Frank Vogel? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.